Hanbit, and I'm a pastry chef from Korea. Hi everybody, it's Hanbit here. 안녕하세요, 조한빛입니다. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make amazing meringue kisses. And they're not just normal meringue kisses, but they're rainbow meringue kisses, which means they've got the rainbow color and they look fantastic and they taste great. What I love about these meringue kisses is that they're light, sweet, crisp on the outside, and chewy marshmallowy on the inside. They taste like heaven and I'm sure you'll love it. Why don't we get into it right away? The ingredients are actually so simple. You need egg whites and sugar. That's it. It's as simple as that. Of course, I've got food coloring here because I'm going to make rainbow meringue kisses, so I need rainbow colors. So I guess the typical color that you would use for making a rainbow would be yellow, orange, red, blue, and purple. Plus, I've got food flavoring here, but rather than flavoring, it's more like aroma. Just adding a few drops of aroma. You can use whichever aroma you want, and I'm going to use strawberry here. Now, a bit of background knowledge on 3 different types of meringue. You've got French meringue, Italian meringue, and Swiss meringue, which is what I'm going to use today. With the French meringue, it's simply adding sugar to egg whites. No need to make syrup or water bath. It's simply whipping the egg whites and adding the sugar. It's the simplest form of meringue. Regarding the Italian meringue, you're going to make sugar syrup and add that into the egg whites while whipping it. And finally, the Swiss meringue, which I'm going to make today. With the Swiss meringue, you're going to dissolve all the sugar in the egg whites using a water bath, and then you're going to whip that into a meringue. Swiss meringue tends to be very stable and it's suitable for this purpose. Now, before I work on the water bath, I'm going to prepare my piping bag. What I mean by preparing the piping bag here is that I'm going to brush the food coloring along the inside of the plastic piping bag. But what you need to remember here is that not only do you need to brush the inside of the piping bag, but you also have to brush the inside of the piping tip, the piping nozzle. If you don't, not enough food coloring will be coated onto your meringue kisses. It's important that you prepare the piping bag beforehand so that you don't leave the finished meringue just hanging outside for too long. You don't have to brush it all the way down here. Make sure you brush the inside of the nozzle as well. And now the orange. Move along and brush it next to the red. Now that I'm done with the brushing, I'm going to set it aside and work on the Swiss meringue. I'm going to use a stand mixer today rather than a hand mixer, but if you want to use a hand mixer, please feel free to. But using a stand mixer is definitely more convenient when making meringues. I've got my hot water bath here. I'm going to add in my egg whites and sugar into the bowl. I'm going to mix the sugar and the egg whites before putting it on the hot water bath. The whole purpose of Swiss meringue is to dissolve the sugar, well, pretty much completely dissolve the sugar into the egg whites before whipping it. I'm going to raise the temperature of this mixture to around 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, and to be honest, once it reaches above 50 degrees Celsius, the sugar should dissolve completely. Right, I've pre-mixed it, and now I'm going to put it on the hot water bath. One thing you have to be careful when working on this water bath is not to cook it. If you don't whisk this mixture constantly, there is a risk of this mixture getting cooked on the side. So do stir it. Now I'm going to turn the heat on. Just put the heat on medium or medium-low. You don't want the water to boil vigorously. Now stir, stir, stir. I know I'm repeating myself, but remember, the whole purpose of this is to dissolve the sugar completely. Do measure the temperature from time to time. It's at 25, I've got a long way to go. If your water starts boiling and you feel that there's just too much heat, just turn it off, it's fine. You will have enough heat to work with. And if you feel that the temperature isn't rising fast enough, then turn it back on. So do control the heat. Right, it's at 50 degrees Celsius, so I've turned the heat off. There's enough heat to push the temperature up around, let's say 3 to 4 degrees. So that's why I've turned it off when it was 50. If you turn the heat off when it reaches 60 degrees Celsius, it might be a bit late and you might start cooking the sides a bit because it's going to rise above 60 degrees Celsius due to the residual heat. That's why I've turned it off at 50 degrees Celsius just to be safe. I'm continuously going to stir it and dissolve all the sugar. I know that the sugar has completely dissolved, but if you just want to make sure, what you can do is take a bit of the mixture, feel it between your fingers. I can't feel the bits of sugar, which means all of it has dissolved. Great, now I'm going to whip this using the stand mixer. I'm going to start slow and whip it on low speed for about a minute and then raise the speed. What this does is by starting slow, it sets the scene, and also, just in case there's a bit of undissolved sugar, this will dissolve it completely. Okay, now I'm going to raise the speed. You can see that the meringue is weak at the moment. You have to whip it further. Now take a look at this, it's very interesting. Whenever you're using a stand mixer, the way to gauge how thick your meringue is or how stiff your meringue is to whisk it, and then when you feel that the time is ripe, just turn it all the way down to the lowest speed and observe. If the meringue is thick enough, it's going to form a ball inside the whisk. And this is a very good way to gauge the thickness of your meringue. Right now I'm going to add in a few drops of the aroma. And you can choose whichever aroma you want, but just add a few drops. Because if you add a lot, then that's going to have a negative effect on your meringue. Great, I think I'm there. So let's take a look. You can feel the resistance of the meringue. It's thick enough. Right, let's take a look at my whipped Swiss meringue. Great, I like this. Look at that rainbow color. I'm ready to pipe it. Great, now I'm ready to bake it in the preheated oven. Right, my rainbow meringue kisses have just come out of the oven. They look fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer it to a cooling rack, let it cool down, and then try it. These have all cooled down, so I'm going to try it. I know that they're too pretty to eat, but I just can't resist it. That's delicious. They're crisp on the outside and it's chewy on the inside. And it simply just melts in your mouth. It just can't get better than that. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to make rainbow meringue kisses. They look absolutely beautiful and trust me, the texture is exceptional. Crisp on the outside and chewy on the inside. It's just amazing. I'm sure you'll love it, so please give it a try and share the love. I'll come back next time with another amazing recipe. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.